8:50 a.m. Jurors are not in the courtroom. Sean Combs sits down at his chair and he turns in his chair to the right. This is our eye direction, like we can see him now. He starts staring in what felt like in our general direction or perhaps right behind us, and it's a pretty lengthy stare. And then he starts nodding while mouthing the words dramatically, "I know you." He mouths it twice with what we perceive to be a smirk. Then as he's turning back around to face the front, he's like ever so slightly shaking his head while he's still smirking. But again, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I don't know if he was looking at me. He could have been looking behind me, right? But then right at that moment, the jury comes in, we all stand up, and as there's noise in the courtroom, because we're not allowed to talk when the judge is on the bench, a reporter from a major media network, I mean, she's been doing this for years and years. She's like a professional. She turns to me and she whispers, quote, "You're putting that in your video, right? Because that was at least 7 seconds."
Welcome back to Celebrew, your insider source for the most electrifying, can't-look-away breakdowns of today's hottest stories. If you think courtroom reporting is just dry legalese and yawning judges, buckle up, because one independent journalist is turning the Diddy trial into the wildest investigative saga you've ever heard. I'm talking about Stephanie Soo, the queen of storytelling mukbangs and host of Rotten Mango. Over the past few weeks, she and her team have embedded themselves in the press pews of one of the highest profile trials in recent memory, and things have gotten downright creepy. From unnerving stares to strangers digging through her bags, viewers are begging her to hire security. Today, we're peeling back every layer of this story, what she's witnessed inside the courtroom, the spine-chilling encounters in the hallways, the online uproar, and exactly why everyone, from casual fans to fellow reporters, is convinced Stephanie is in real danger. Ready? Let's dive.
So my researcher and I, we both felt it was weird. We both wrote it down independently in our notes in the courtroom. We talked about it after, and we're like, you know what? We can't be sure. And it happens again on Friday, a week later. So on Friday, there's this moment where there's a sidebar. Sean Combs' attorneys are near the front of the courtroom with the judge, and regardless, the jurors are still sitting on the side. Sean Combs turns around, and then he talks to his mom, and then he's smiling, nodding at her. He's like mouthing, "I love you." And then my neck is tilted still because I'm observing him, and I'm taking notes about him talking to his mom during this sidebar. And as he's making his turn back to the front, it felt like we make awkward eye contact. And I say awkward to the point where I'm like, you know when it's so awkward, you almost like instinctively smile or look down because you're like, oh, I just got caught staring at someone. That was the feeling. It was like, oh, I literally just got caught staring him down. And he starts rubbing his chin with his left hand and mouths what appears to seem like, "I know you. I know you." And this time it seemed more pronounced because as he's rubbing his chin with his left hand, he does like a slight index point. It's not like a point. He's not pointing his finger, but it's kind of like a hand gesture, like, "I know you," like kind of like you.
Bada bing, bada boo.
It feels very challenging when he looks at people. It doesn't feel like zoning out. It doesn't feel like, I wonder why these people are here. It feels challenging. That's the best word.
Is he doing this on purpose here, or is this how he always...
I don't know him. I personally feel like this is how he is. I don't think that he's like cares about the members of the press that much.
This is just how he always looks at someone.
Yes.
He holds his eye contact and he doesn't break it.
No. It feels like he sizes up everyone. And it's not even like we're important or anything to him, but it just is very interesting.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing more scrutiny. Federal prosecutors have accused Combs of witness tampering from behind bars. He's in jail. The prosecution filed another motion on Friday urging the judge to not grant bail to the hip-hop star. They say he deployed a, quote, relentless effort to contact potential witnesses, including victims of his abuse, who could provide powerful testimony against him. And he's doing that, again, from behind bars. Now, for context...
Front row press coverage. You might be wondering, why would Stephanie Soo, best known for her viral mukbangs, risk her safety to cover a courtroom drama? Here's the deal. Stephanie isn't just a foodie on camera. Under the alias storytelling. Mukbang Queen, she's built Rotten Mango into a platform for immersive storytelling. When the Diddy trial kicked off, she saw an opportunity to bring her signature deep dive approach to a real-time news story. So she and her researcher packed notebooks, credentials, and full support gear, then took their seats in the press section. No, recording devices allowed. Unlike a typical live stream, federal courtrooms ban all electronics. That means Stephanie and her team rely entirely on old-school pen and paper. Every smirk, whisper, and shifting eye is meticulously transcribed into detailed notes. The pressure of proximity. Sitting just rows away from Sean Diddy Combs means every gesture is magnified. A slip of the pen could shatter your credibility or draw unwanted attention from the defendant himself. A team effort? Stephanie never goes solo. Between her lead researcher, a camera operator for exterior shots, and a rotating support staff, the entire Rotten Mango crew moves as one unit. This level of coordination is rare for independent creators, and it's exactly why mainstream outlets have taken notice. Covering a trial this intimately isn't for the faint of heart, but it's also what makes Stephanie's updates so compelling. Her audience gets unfiltered, second-by-second breakdowns that you simply won't find anywhere else. The chilling gaze. Now let's talk about the moments that sent shivers down every spine tuned into Stephanie's coverage. The jaw-dropping "I know you" incidents. Here's a play-by-play of how it went down. First incident. It was a typical Tuesday morning. Jurors were out of the room. Stephanie's team was huddled over their notes, scanning the defense table when suddenly Diddy swivels in his chair. For 7 full seconds, he locks eyes with Stephanie, curves his lips into a knowing smirk, and mouths the words, 3 syllables clear as day, "I know you." By the time he faced forward again, Stephanie's heart was racing, and so was everyone else's in that press section. Team confirmation. Immediately after, a senior reporter from a major network whispered, "You're putting that in your video, right?" Both Stephanie and her researcher had independently scribbled identical notes. That level of consensus among seasoned journalists underscored how unmistakable and unsettling that stare was. Second encounter. 1 week later, during a sidebar conference, jurors remained seated, the courtroom hush broken only by quiet whispering. Among lawyers, Diddy, chatting with his attorney, turns to his mother, throws her a smile, then locks vision with Stephanie again. This time, he adds a hand gesture, raising his chin, index finger nudging an imaginary target, and repeats, "I know you." The nuance? It wasn't a casual glance. It was a deliberate, performative call-out. Imagine being face-to-face with a music mogul in a high-stakes trial, caught in that much eye contact. Would you brush it off as coincidence? Stephanie and her team couldn't, and neither could the industry veterans surrounding her. Fans sound the alarm once. Stephanie shared these moments on Rotten Mango. Her comment sections morphed into digital war rooms. Fans, content creators, and even legal commentators flooded the thread with urgent pleas. "Stephanie, please get security. Now, he's targeting you. This isn't coincidence. Use enclosed bags. Check your car for trackers. Stop sharing your hotel info. Protect yourself." Across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, the reaction was unanimous. This could be active intimidation, not just courtroom theatrics. Clips of the 2 "I know you" stares went viral, each time ramping up the fear factor. Commentary roundup. One viewer broke down the body language in a 90-second TikTok, showing how micro-expressions, raised eyebrows, smirk, finger point, translate to "This is about you." Fan theories. Some speculated Diddy's team might be feeding off publicized details, like her hotel moves, to manipulate her coverage. Others worried that planted trackers or surveillance devices could be in play. Legal expert voices. Media law analysts weighed in, noting that defendants rarely engage with press individuals directly. Doing so could compromise their decorum and even trigger mistrial motions if it's interpreted as tampering. In short, what started as an anecdotal aside exploded into a full-blown safety campaign, and it only accelerated the next wave of unsettling events. Strange strangers between courtroom intensity and online uproar, Stephanie and her team also dealt with a logistical nightmare that reads like a thriller subplot, hotel hide and seek. In 2 weeks, they've shifted lodging 4 times, sometimes changing cities altogether, just to stay one step ahead of prying eyes. Each move involves scouting new rooms, verifying security systems, and coordinating transport under the radar. Hugs gone wrong. One afternoon, walking out of the courthouse, a stranger approached Stephanie with a tight hug and a glowing compliment. "I love your show." Sounds harmless, until Stephanie's researcher yanked her back, shouting, "Run!" Why? The fan's hand had delved elbow deep into Stephanie's tote bag, rummaging for who knows what. Invasive interrogation. Random passersby will sidle up mid-sentence, switch from praise to questioning. Which hotel are you at? Which part of town? Who's on your team? How do you get around? Journalists and content creators often trade hot tips on local accommodation, but that assumes a foundation of trust. These strangers, they clearly weren't super fans. This pattern of behavior, rapt attention followed by probing personal questions, felt more predator than admirer. Every whispered, "love your show," came with a side of suspicion, and the team's nerves stretched tighter with each encounter. Koala comments and sketch artists. As if stares and stalker vibes weren't enough, Stephanie's courtroom commentary introduced a third bizarre element: the koala controversy. Here's what went down: the initial joke. During her podcast recap, Stephanie quipped that Diddy's courtroom appearance made him resemble a koala bear, those fluffy gray creatures known for looking perpetually bewildered. Fans laughed. It was playful satire. Unexpected reaction. Days later, multiple sources reported that Diddy asked the official courtroom sketch artist to soften me up a bit, specifically mentioning that he didn't want to look like a koala bear. Why it matters. Courtroom sketches are a time-honored tradition, capturing nuances that cameras can't. A defendant challenging the artist's portrayal signals an acute awareness of their public image and suggests someone in his camp is monitoring her commentary. Combine this with the "I know you" stares, and you have a pattern. Diddy, his team, or affiliates are paying attention to Stephanie's observations, and they don't all appreciate her brand of humor. When the subject of your reporting intervenes in the narrative, you've jumped from observer to character in your own story, and that ups the stakes dramatically. Safety tips from the brew. Crew, by now, you're probably thinking, what would I do in Stephanie's shoes? Fortunately, the Celebrew community has assembled a checklist of safety best practices for anyone covering high-profile trials, or just navigating unpredictable social encounters. Secure your belongings. Ditch open totes and messenger bags. Opt for backpacks or clutches with no external pockets. If you must carry multiple items, consolidate them in pouches you can lock. Sweep for trackers. AirTags, tile trackers, and other Bluetooth devices can hide in seams or even clothing layers. Use a tracker detecting app on your phone, or manually inspect any object that's been near you for more than a minute. Obfuscate travel details. Never post real-time check-ins or hotel names. Use vague descriptors, downtown lodging, or midtown apartment. So even if someone overhears, they can't pinpoint your location. Move in numbers. There's safety in groups. If possible, always travel with at least one colleague who can watch your back. Maintain a communication protocol, check in every hour, share your live location selectively, and establish code words for emergencies. Adopt a firm stance. When strangers ask invasive questions, it's okay to be polite but firm. Sorry, not comfortable sharing that. Repeat as needed. If they persist, remove yourself and seek assistance from courthouse security or law enforcement. Document every incident. Keep your camera rolling on your phone, where permitted, or take detailed notes immediately afterward. Time-stamped records can be invaluable if you need to file a formal complaint or seek protective measures. These steps may sound extreme, but when you're face-to-face with a multi-millionaire defendant under intense legal scrutiny, better. Safe than sorry isn't just advice, it's essential. What's next and why it matters, so what happens now? Stephanie isn't backing down, and neither should we. Here's what to watch for. Courtroom developments. As the trial moves into witness testimony and cross-examination, Stephanie's live recaps will continue to shape public perception. If she reports something unfavorable for Diddy, will we see more intimidation tactics? Legal repercussions. Intentionally making eye contact or mouthing threats could be construed as jury tampering or harassment. Defense attorneys could file motions asking for changes to courtroom procedures, which might limit press access. Industry impact. Stephanie's experience is a microcosm of a larger issue, the perils independent journalists face when covering powerful figures. From social media doxing to physical stalking, the risks are real and often underreported. Your role? By engaging with this thread, liking, commenting, sharing, you signal to platforms and potential sponsors that Stephanie's safety is a priority. Collective attention can translate to real-world support, from funding security to promoting best practices for digital privacy. This isn't just a celebrity trial story, it's a cautionary tale about the intersection of fame, justice, and the modern media ecosystem. Stephanie Soo's gritty, on-the-ground reporting is raising the bar for courtroom coverage, but it's also putting a spotlight on the vulnerabilities that come with being an independent voice in a world of influence and power. That's our deep dive into why Stephanie Soo's safety has become the viral conversation of the Diddy trial. From the unnerving "I know you" stares to the hotel-hopping saga, the koala sketch controversy, and fans' non-stop security alerts, it's clear this story is far from over. What do you think? Should Stephanie hire personal security, or will public pressure and courthouse protections be enough? Have you ever felt your safety was compromised while covering or researching a story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get that discussion rolling. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a Celebrew exclusive. Thanks for watching, stay vigilant out there, and I'll see you in the next video.